G'day guys, Mac with you, Circle. The paint station. I've had a lot of questions, queries, and of course responses on the original post about this. And I would like to take today's opportunity to talk about it some more, some design decisions, and to show off the improved version, because there already is an improved version. So, first things first, padding and material to rest your hands on. This is a hard material, no doubt about it. There's two options in place. A large, strong, sturdy foam, heavy duty foam that goes along here, which will be supplied in the kit, is one of them. Another is putting a sort of rubber and foam pad along here. May or not be what people want, may or may not be, I should say. I'd like to know what people prefer. Second, choice of material. Very strong, thick, 50 mils thick off the top of my head, and solid, completely solid. So, thick, it's heavy, yes, I think in the 4 to 6 kilo range, but I don't want it to be light, because light things are easily moved and knocked, and you've got to remember the lighting system that's mounted into here normally is quite heavy. So having a heavy light on there that I'm able to move with one finger, but in any direction, well, you don't want to counterbalance it. Like if I swing it all the way around off it, I don't want it to have the weight to lift this up. Shouldn't, but down the line I may look at routing out the bottom, but that's an extra machining step. If I route out the bottom, that extra step would increase the cost dramatically, because it takes time, it's machining work that's got to be done. That's not quick or easy. So not really a great way of saving weight. The other option is going thinner with the whole thing. If I do that, that's fine too, but I'll have to build up a block on the end anyway in order to take the mounting of the bracket. So the light bracket as it would arrive is like this. There is a fitting on here. It's a plastic fitting, 1/4 inch, will mount a camera or the light system, and of course here is the power cable coming out, and the other end of the power cable down here. There are little pulley gutters that you won't really get into focus that close to the lens, but the cable runs in, it's just zip tied along there just to keep it out of the way. That is the mating spigot, and it needs the length for stability. If you cut it down by half for a small plate, the light will just bend it over time. Not a good compromise. So if I go to something thinner, that's problems that have got to be worked out. Wood is another thing that people said. What about wood? I would love to make these out of wood. That would make my life a lot easier than making them out of plastic. But wood, let's just say customs in general don't like wood. The reason customs don't like wood is because, well, it could have beetles in it or something like that, and everything has to be treated and certified. Again, that's extra expense. I'll look into it. Definitely keen to try it, but again, what do people prefer? Wood, as in, you know, nice piece of pine or hardwood timber, or do they want plastic? Both have their pros and cons. Wood, for example, is going to take getting wet a lot worse than plastic will, because wood swells and warps. You get it wet and then it's hot, well, you know, your wood will turn to a bowl. Not ideal. So anyway, let's talk a little bit more about this. This was the prototype, the original idea, the concept. Brush holders over here, they're small, too small in fact. I figured out, as I move around the camera, pretty much just these small brushes are the only ones that can fit into these. So that was something I changed. Another thing people commented on was, it's not very friendly for the left-hand user. They're right. Originally I thought this would work for both the left and the right-hand user. No, it's not. It's not going to work at all. But I did figure that out prior to releasing the last video, because the Mark 1, the trial version, well, that has been in production for about a week. So, that's a change. The spillway, as you'll see, the spillway, it's not perfect. Again, being a prototype, quickly knocked together, couple of hours, I'm knocking things off. Not ideal, not great. So that was, again, something that had to be changed. The position of the paint palette. Paint pallet's here, models are here, water's over here. That means dip, dip, dip. Not ideal. Had to be changed. Paint pot position didn't have to be changed so much as I did change it because I think it would look better in another position and would work better for people who are left-handed painters. So, with all that in mind, let's look at the Mark II. So, out of the way with the prototype, I should say the Mark I, I'm not up to a Mark II. Mark II will be any changes I make to this based on the feedback I get from different painters. So, obviously differences. Single gutter and a single gutter here instead of an all-round gutter. Why? Well, most paint's just going to spill straight this way. Why? Because I've put a very gentle curve into this by heating it up just with a blowtorch. Heat up the plastic, put a gentle curve in, paint will pull more towards the center because it's actually a very soft banana. Not that you'll ever notice it, but if you do spill something, it'll flow down to these nice deep channels, easy to get the paint out of. We've then got 1, 2, 4, like Vallejo Army Painter, that sort of size pots. Shouldn't really need them. Those pots are very, very hard to spill because of their design. It's pretty much just Games Workshop style pots that you unscrew the caps of that have a habit of spilling. So 2 Games Workshop pot holders, easy. Brush holders, 4 here, and there's small and big ones. And our water pots are over here. So now, when I put the water pots in, water, paint palette. Paint onto the paint palette, paint away. Water onto the palette. Nice and easy, we're not dragging it back and forth over the models. Everything can be done with one hand over here, and I can spin the entire thing around if I want to paint with my left hand and do an identical job of it. So, much more user-friendly. Still got the foam for a wet palette that goes in here. I won't be supplying material for it, but it's basically just a grease-free baking paper that you want to put onto this. And obviously the paint palette, the production variants will have a stainless steel paint palette instead of a little plastic one like this, unless people are really keen for a plastic one, in which case I can do it either way. So that's the new station. I think that's quite an improvement actually, but you know, keen to hear what people think about it. So, how does it come? Well, it will come to you in a box, obviously. The cups will be stored to one side. Put your cups in, obviously 2 different cups for water and that sort of thing. This armature will come like this, already wired up and zip tied together, because it's just easy. And in its own separate box will come this light. This is a Viltrox 116T light. I think they're about $40, $50 off Amazon. Yeah. So expensive. I'm trying to retail these for about 100 Australian, as I said. That's based on parts. Between the charging system, the armature, and the light combined, that's already 80 Australian dollars. So, and that's what I can buy it for. So, trying to sell these at 100 by the time you factor in the pots, the palette, machining time, material used, and labor. Yeah, let's just say $100. I'm not making any money. Alright, when it comes to putting these together, it's actually pretty easy. I just take this, put it into whatever slot I like. It's already got the fitting on there, 1/4 fitting. Make sure I screw it in the right way. Righty tighty, lefty loosey, but it's upside down. power source in. And then obviously power to the power point. That's it. That's all there is to it. I think it's 12 volt, 12 volt 2 amp power adapter too, by the way. So for those who wanted a list of parts you can make your own at home, there you go. When you buy these, they'll come with a plastic fitting. They come with one that's designed to mount camera flashes. But, you know, pretty much identical to this fitting. And if you want to buy, you know, one of these flexible things, there's all kinds on the market you can use. These are just the ones I've chosen because, you know, one hand operation, one finger. I can move this wherever I like. As you can see, it doesn't drop. I can swing it right the way around. So it's pointing the other way, and this heavy enough to not lift. As I say, this is not to make money, this is to help people out, people in the hobby. Lights have always been something that suck. We always experiment with lamps and things like that at home. Well, I've fixed that. I think I've fixed that with this lighting solution. If you want to buy your own, by all means, don't have to come to me. I've given you the details now. Go and help yourselves. But anyway, that's the Mark 1. So this will be going out to a couple of different people to test. I've made 2 of these. They'll go out, get some feedback, and if people like it, something very similar to this is what is going to go into production. Anyway, make it the outer circle. One more thing, just to show the point. Move this out of the way so we don't hit our camera. Whole assembly spins around 360 degrees. Sorry, it's got very grippy feet, so it's gripping very strongly to the table. Let's bring the whole thing around. And now I can be a left-hand painter. I'll move this over to the other side. And there you go. All the controls are still there, easy reach, still one finger to operate. Up, out of the way if you want a nice high light source. Everything's there. Hey, I think we're onto a winner. Anyway, let me know what you think. See you all next time.